TFW podcast. That's freaking wrestling. I am your host, Matt, joined by two of my peeps, two of my faves, Rhodesia, Eshaun. Should I skip past the how are you doing part? You guys are only going to give me 5 seconds of
No.
I'm ready to talk wrestling, or do you actually have something for the people that tune in each and every week to listen to us?
I want to wish all our listeners who are fathers, somewhat of a father, a male role model, happy early Father's Day.
You know what, Matt, as another dad,
Yes.
I have to work this weekend.
Oh, no.
I have to work this weekend. And I'm expecting it to be a busy day. Why? We get the short end of the stick on Daddy's Day. Why on these retail stores, like, they're filled to the brim, like, for Mom's Day, lead up to the day, right? And then it's become a ghost town. Everyone's celebrating, they loving Mom, everything's all good. But for Daddy's Day, it's like another day. It's another day in the park.
Or even here in the United States, where the men is supposed to be valued on Sweetest Day in October, right? Where the women are valued on Valentine's Day. There's nothing going on around Sweetest Day in October.
Sweetest Day is not really known throughout all of the United States either. It's only
I was
selected regions.
just about to say that. To be honest with you, Matt, here in Georgia, they don't celebrate. They don't know what Sweetest Day is.
Yeah. For everybody's
crazy.
third Saturday of October. Third Saturday of October is Sweetest Day.
Wow. Well,
Hey, appreciate your daddies, everybody.
Yes, appreciate your daddies. Happy early Father's Day to anybody who is listening, or happy Father's Day if you're listening to this days after we drop. We are here, guys. It is, if you are a sports fan, we are basically locked into wrestling now, besides baseball. NBA Finals, shout out to Denver Nuggets, taking care of business last week. Basketball's over.
You see how Jokic, how he talked after he won? It sounded like it was just a regular game. It was like, the team worked hard. Da, 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 da.
He lost his MVP trophy. He said he left it in the room and it's not there. I don't know. That's what he said yesterday.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Joker's the man. He is the absolute man. So there's no more basketball. NHL playoffs are over.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the Vegas Golden Knights. They win the Stanley Cup trophy. That's it. Football, we got another couple months. So unless you are locked in to baseball, wrestling is all we have sports-wise for the next 2 to 3 months. But it is going to be a hot summer. We kind of thought about even starting with AEW, but we will start with AEW. We got a lot going on in AEW. From Collision this Saturday to this rumored CM Punk interview that's probably has dropped already if you're listening to this, or it will drop later on today if you listen to it on Friday, that is supposed to be something that is going to ruffle some feathers. There's a lot. So I guess let's go ahead and get into AEW. Dynamite this week. Let me, I guess I'll go with the air horn.
The crowd was in it. The crowd was in it.
That is the AEW I want every week as much as possible. You can't do that finish every single week. I get that. But damn, that was a fun show. That was the old AEW where, yes, we know we're going to get the in-ring, great work. We got that. But we got some surprises. We got some great storyline advancement. This week was fantastic. Fan-freaking-tastic for Dynamite. What'd you guys think of the show?
Overall, I just remember my takeaway was that the crowd was off the hook from beginning to end. And at first I thought they was going to, fade out, fade away. Nope. They were hot from the beginning to the end. And just some of the things that we saw, like the video packages of the Forbidden Door that's coming up, man, I'm hype. So like you said, all those air horns, I am super hype. So all the other sports are gone. What do we still have? Pro wrestling. They don't have an off season. So by default, we should have like much more numbers now as a TFW pod, right? Now that all the other sports are gone.
Yep. We should see our numbers skyrocket. Y'all ain't got nothing else to do.
Right.
Tell everybody about it. The best pod in the game, baby. Speaking of, as I started last week's pod, I would want to, of course, continue to say thank you to you guys for your support. Appreciate the loyalty. We got some really cool news to share with you guys next week about the future of the pod, which hopefully everybody should be super excited about. But
Do I get a raise?
if you have not already, no. But if you have not already, follow us on Twitter at That's FNW. Follow us on YouTube at That's Freaking Wrestling. What else? That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's it. Eshaun, back to you. Dynamite. What did you think?
I was able to see most of the show, but what I really love about Dynamite, and just what AEW is doing, I love like these collision previews and videos. I think that's really cool. I think it really adds to the show. I like what they're doing with their production. I really love that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, hey, we're gonna talk about the Adam Cole and MJF finish.
Get into it.
Go ahead.
Man, that was a cheap ass finish.
No, that was a fantastic finish. I loved that finish.
No, that was cheap as hell. It wasn't as cheap as it wasn't as bad as the Mania. You know, Cody and Roman.
Oh my God, we starting already. In the first 5 minutes of the show, we start.
It wasn't cheap as that, but I was like, man, because like I'm watching the show, and I was actually working out as I was watching that match. To be honest with you, I got a multitask. I don't have a lot of time. Did I miss the timer? Were they telling us that there was X amount of minutes?
So usually, anytime at the beginning of the match, they say the time on it. Now, I remember right before it happened, like literally not even 45 seconds beforehand, Matt's like, how long is the time on this match? And I'm like, oh, it's 60 minutes. It's for the title, not thinking that it's the number one contendership, but, or, you know, for whatever they call it in AEW. But I'm like, no, it's 60 minutes. And literally not even 30 seconds left. It was that awkward, hold on, what just happened? He went for a 3 count, but it was on the 2 count, the bell goes off. So he literally caught it right down. I don't know if it was gut or his wrestling intuitions, but I don't remember them saying anything.
What they
in
typically
broadcast.
do with AEW is they used to have Justin Roberts tell us where we were in the time.
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. He laid out the entire time. And I kept thinking, okay, this is a title eliminator match. It's leading the show. So, like, we got to have some form of a finish. What I mean by that is it can't just be Chris Jericho run in and that's it. Because I was a little bit worried about that too. Because I was like, maybe they didn't finish the Jericho feud with Adam Cole. So I'm watching. And I'm really like, man, this match is incredible. And I'm like, this match is so good, though. This can't be the last match in their feud. Like, we got to see another one. Because especially while about 23 minutes, 24 minutes in, I'm like, all right, they're going somewhere with this. That is not typical. Because that's a really long match. And when I looked and I'm like, all right, something's got to happen. There's got to be some type of shenanigans. There is not going to be a clean finish
after
from
all
the referee
this time,
stopping him using the ring and all that, which, man, the match was just fantastic. I loved the finish because we know that it's not done. Now, that was a blow-off finish, of course. That's a cheap finish. Loved it as a start to, hopefully, which is going to be a fantastic feud. Thought it was the best Adam Cole has looked in AEW by far, which I think speaks again to MJF. I put a tweet out last night that I know it's early, super early in his career, but it may be about time to have a conversation just on where MJF is right now in rankings or however you want to look at it. Every match has been killer. We know what he can do on the mic. He's must-see TV. That boy is doing some fantastic work. But I loved the match. I thought last week we talked about their promo segment. I'm like, it was everything right and everything wrong with AEW.
Yeah.
I think that match is just what everything is right about AEW. Loved it, loved everything about it. And to your point, surrounding like the production pieces, we got numerous shots of the elbow drop through the table. Yes, thank you. Show me what I need to remember. Show me what's important from these matches. And that's something that, because they go 100 miles an hour, the match is over and you forget how the match started because they throw so much at us. So I love that part. I just really, really enjoyed that match. I thought it was great. It didn't do a great number, which is interesting. I don't know what to read into the ratings. They popped a great number last week. And
Did they know that they were going to start the show? Was that ever really said?
No, but there was nothing on last night.
True
Right,
that.
that's the thing.
True that.
So that's why it's like, okay, So you guys do over 900,000 last week, but then you drop pretty significantly. Like, well, I guess they were up in 18 to 39 year over year. So that's a positive, but I can't call it with these ratings because that, to me, that number didn't make sense. It wasn't like last week's show was horrendous, so people tuned out. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe some of those people are waiting to tune in on Saturday for CM Punk. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Right. I can only watch so many hours of wrestling. There we go. And this time they use. But I would say everything you said and echo everything you said about the match, except for I cannot stand. And of course, this is MJF being MJF. I cannot stand him messing with people in the crowd. It actually makes me sick to my stomach. I cannot stand it because he pushes the boundary all the time. And what happens if somebody else reacts in a way that he doesn't like? To me, don't like it at all. Now, again, that could be
I'm good. I'm good with him and the fans as long as he leave them kids alone.
I don't like him touching anybody because don't touch me or anything on
me.
me.
I wish that was me.
Yep.
Y'all would have seen the best sell job in the history of professional wrestling. I would still be laid out in that same seat right now until AEW Tony Khan came and took me to the back. We're going to have some conversations about the future of Matt and AEW. My man, I was like, if he don't flop right now.
I got to get a graphic for you. I got to get a graphic for you. Matt
I would definitely
AEW.
be all elite. I would definitely be all elite.
Hey, he does too much though. But listen, that finish, I didn't have a problem with the finish per se. It's almost like when somebody cheats in the game and you're like, oh, okay, you bastard, you got me, right? Because all of a sudden it's 1, 2, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Oh, the time limit, Drew. Like they don't announce it. They don't talk about the time limit at all. It's just something that just happens. And it happened almost out of nowhere. So that was the thing for me. It was just like, okay, I get it. But any other time, we're getting a countdown. There's a clock popping up or anything. This one just kind of ended. But I was, look, it didn't ruin what you said, a really great match. MJF is great in the ring. Adam Cole, that's my guy. I'm looking forward to further to continue the feud. So yeah.
I do have a question, and I don't care how you look. It's how you work. But man, it was a pretty stark contrast in that ring with MJF's body type and Adam Cole's body type.
Oh, I know. I ain't think. Oh, I hope you.
Yeah.
Man, it was a stark contrast, which makes me think: can Cole just not put on muscle, or does he feel like he doesn't need to? Does he feel like he doesn't want to? I would really want to know that question. Once again, I'm not a body person like that. Where hey, I feel like everybody has to be muscle bound, but you really see a big difference with him. Now, granted, MJF is jacked right now, but just looking at them two in the ring, I was like, damn, he's making Cole look even worse than he's looked before, just from a physical standpoint. Still can go in the ring, but I was kind of surprised when I saw them. They were standing next to each other. I was like, man, that is pretty.
Hey, you know what? Here's the thing, man. Like I love Adam Cole. Man, I gotta be honest with you. I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think of MJF as being a big guy. But, I think it was a point when they were doing like when he kind of, I forget what they call the move, but he had grabbed him from behind. And I was like, man.
Yeah.
Like MJF kind of swallowed him up. Right. So it is interesting because you would think that, I guess, weight is hard for some people to gain, but he doesn't look like a really skinny guy either. Right. It looks like it's more of a choice with him, but maybe it's not. Like I said before, maybe he's so injured he can't really work out to gain, muscle, right? He might have some kind of injuries or, something with his shoulders or his chest that he just can't lift. Maybe he can only do cardio. We don't know. But let's be honest, man. If you're an Adam Cole fan and you watch that match, like you had to think to yourself, like, man, he's much smaller than MJF. And MJF isn't really a big guy.
Yeah, I don't need to say anything else on that because it's it, and I don't want to sound like I'm body shaming at all, but it's kind of like what you guys always talk about, suspending your disbelief, because this is kind of what I've always said. And again, I'm not body shaming. It sounds like I am, but somebody like Becky Lynch, and a lot of times when she goes against bigger women, like you're very thin. Like in my mind, I don't know how you could beat that person. Again, I'm just looking at just in reality. But again, nothing to take from either one of them. They are fantastic in a ring. That, you know, they run circles around people. But I thought the same exact thing.
The only time like the really small people irritate me in wrestling is when they talk like they're big and bad. Like you're not a badass. You're like 86 pounds. Like enough. Chill out. Relax.
So you said
relax.
My alter ego, huh?
You relax.
Well, I'm not little. I'm just short.
You can tell me you're a high flyer. Tell me you'll fly better than anybody else. But do not tell me you're going to drag somebody around and beat them up.
Is that why you can't get with the big and the daddy?
This guy, man.
Right? Is that why?
Well, I mean, because I guess you're not that big, so maybe so. That could be it.
I'll tell you what
big is mindset.
I'll be honest and say like
grand.
If you would have said 72 hours ago this is going to happen, I would have shit on it. But as professionals and as icons, it only took 30 seconds. And they got me hook, line, and zinger.
Who?
Any idea what I'm talking about from Dynamite?
Nope. I'm looking at my notes. Nope.
Sting and Chris Jericho.
Oh.
Man, if you'd have told me 72 hours ago, hey, next feud for Chris Jericho's gonna be Sting, I probably been like, man, I don't think I really need to see that. But it was something there when they were in the ring together. And that was actually the first time like ever they've ever like shared a ring together, which is insane when you think about that. Which is insane when you think about that. I'm here for it. I am absolutely here for it. I'm wondering, I know that Sting said he doesn't want any singles matches and he wants his retirement match to be with Darby Allin, him being involved, not one-on-one against Darby. But man, how do you not go Sting and Jericho in Wembley in front of 65, 70,000 people, and that's Sting's last match? There is no better way. Yeah. It's not like, you know, he's attached to his hometown and his hometown is going to be on the docket later on this year, or there's an Undertaker that's coming in. Like, this is there any better way? He already said he was retiring this year. Is there any other better way for him to go out?
Nope. Because I don't know where Sting is from. So I don't, you know, when they introduce people, I don't even know where they say. I forget where they say he's from. He's not from really like the city.
I don't think they do anymore, right?
Yeah.
He's from. Is he from Florida?
I think he's from California, where he was back in the day when he was a surfer Sting.
Rhodesia, this is the perfect time for you to get on your Googles.
What you think? I scratched my nose. What was I about to go do? I was going to the Wikipedia.
Share that in your segment later on. What you got?
Hey,
I know he's about to say something.
I'm not sure why you thought that a Chris Jericho anything would be on my list of something I'm looking forward to. All due respect, but you know, when I think of Sting and Jericho facing off, I think of Goldberg and Undertaker facing off. And I just don't want to see.
Well, which ones? Are we talking Goldberg and Taker from Saudi? Or are we talking like...
Yes, sir. We're not talking about Brian. We're talking about older men sharing the ring together in a wrestling ring. I look, no, Sting is 60 going on 40, right? Chris Jericho is 50 something. Like, I just...
Man, really? So you're saying you're not there for that match?
No, not at all.
Wow.
Not at all.
Okay.
See, I feel like, and this is about to be misinterpreted such a bad way, so I probably wouldn't say this after the summertime when our numbers skyrocket. I'm still say it when infancy stage of our show.
Oh boy.
But Jericho's like a cockroach. He just doesn't go away. But he's like for me, I still respect him. I'm like mad props. Like he doesn't come out when the lights is on. He stays behind, you know, in the crevices at nighttime and dark. Like to me, he feels like he's always there. He's always gonna put himself over, but he's also putting other people over at the same time. But he just won't go away. He's a cockroach, but a cool cockroach.
He's not cool at all.
What cockroaches you know that put people over?
They put him over by not coming out when the lights are on. so they don't come
I
out.
ain't never seen no cool cockroach. Shout out to the cockroaches though.
Yeah.
I saw this video. It was from Florida or something. I saw it this week. I meant to send it to you guys. This person, like, I think they walked out of their house or they were trying to get in their house.
Mm-hmm.
And it had to be hundreds of these bugs. They look like cockroaches, like everywhere. On the house, on the car, on the concrete. I was like, no way.
Oh my God.
Burn the whole thing down. Burn the whole thing down. What else from Dynamite? I liked I really enjoyed MJF saying like, I'm not showing up to for Forbidden Door.
Oh,
you
yes.
can have that.
Yep.
And I liked it because I hope that keeps going. I hope we don't know if he shows up until Forbidden Door.
I like that.
I really enjoyed
he's
that.
like, say what now? He said, say what now? Oh, I ain't doing
typically
that.
doesn't happen. Like you find out you're in the match and the heel just storms off upset. He's like, yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. No thanks.
No, thank you.
Forbidden Door, the matches they announced, man, Forbidden Door looks fantastic. That show looks ridiculous.
One thing I'll mention from Dynamite that I didn't know until the commentator said something that the BCC hadn't lost in over a year. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, they say any match with Moxley involved.
Wow. Yep. That's impressive.
So the way E brings up the Cody and Roman thing every week, I got to go with my stick of wins and losses matter.
You're right. Because who's on the top right now? Who's dominating? BCC. I don't know anybody who dislikes BCC. Yep. They're hot.
Which is a problem because they're supposed to be heels.
Yeah.
Like, I've always wished they would have changed Moxley's Wild Thing music. Mm-hmm. That's face music. Right? Like, even when he got in the ring last night, they're starting and he gives the crowd the middle finger. And it's just like, man, nobody's like, I get it. Nobody's booing you, though. Moxley, everybody loves you.
Right.
Everybody loves you. Mm-hmm. Oh, what else? What else you guys want to talk about from Dynamite? I mean, there was a lot, so I don't want to just. We could spend this entire show probably talking about how great,
so then we'll
like,
talk
all the
about
segments were.
Oh, the Billy Goat. Got to see him last night on Dynamite. For the ladies, wait, and for the ladies, he had on sweatpants. Yep. Go ahead, you may continue.
Is that how you feel?
That's how I feel.
Do you even know what happened when he came in the ring, or you?
No,
just
I was like,
no,
I'm joking. I'm joking. No.
You probably were.
No, I'm joking.
You probably were. That's why you got so excited when he came out. I ain't put two and two together. That's my fault. That's my bad.
Yeah,
you're right. Because if Bianca would have came out on Monday, she was looking pretty incredible on SmackDown. But I get it. I get that for you. We talked about the last 5 minutes of Dynamite. You can't do it every week. You cannot. But I knew we were in for something. I didn't know what when the match ended at
the 55 mark
or 8:55.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I was like, damn, okay. Typically, they go up to the second till the match is over. And
I
was like, man, this is going to be interesting. And they threw it all at us. And I think it all worked. I think every single thing they gave us in those 3 or 4 minutes worked, from Takeshita and Omega to Ospreay. I mean, it's good. That's the stuff we want from AEW. Mm-hmm. Is that stuff that you don't see coming, that's leading to something, though. It wasn't like those were just random people that just came out. No, those are all stories. Those are all matches we're going to be seeing in the future.
Especially with Takeshita. You put them in there. That's that story that they're telling between Takeshita and Don Callis. But hold on, we still got to sell Forbidden Door. So I love that. That was perfect. To me, just how intense Takeshita was, I was happy too at that moment. And then, of course, when Will Ospreay came out, that was a different story. But overall, really, really, really great pay-per-view. Really great Dynamite. And like I said, the crowd was in it from beginning to end.
They were. It reminded me of like the old school type AEW crowds. One, they had over 5,000 people in the building. That always helps.
Sweet.
When you have a bigger crowd. But no, that crowd was there. Crowd was there the entire time. I was pulling up. Did you guys hear? This came out today that Dax is now involved in creative for AEW.
No.
There's a lot of names being thrown around being involved in creative. So now we got Dax, we got Bryan Danielson, Jimmy Jacobs
That's
was
a big
backstage.
get. That's a big get for them.
Huge get. If
Yeah.
you guys don't know who Jimmy Jacobs is, he used to be a worker, but he's done some great things creatively for WWE. He was actually fired for taking a picture with the Elite years ago, or the Young Bucks outside of a Raw show. He actually did some really good things in Impact. Also, that's where he was just at, was Impact, doing some creative things there. So it sounds like, man, Tony is getting some good people around him and getting some good feedback. Now, what will be interesting is, are the wrestlers involved kind of just giving some of their creative for just themselves or for the entire show that they're going to be on, or what? But looks like they got some, and we know Punk's going to give some creative thoughts and ideas. But if last night was any indication of what this summer looks like for AEW, I think we're going to be really, really happy. Really, really happy.
Yeah, I think the
Indeed.
Jimmy Jacobs get was really good because I was watching Impact the other day and I saw him doing an interview segment. I was like, man, I would love for him to be in AEW on creative. And lo and behold, here he is, part of AEW and creative. So really excited for the future of AEW because as we always talked about, if they can get their creative in line, man, sky's the limit for them.
Especially with the talent they have. Especially that talent.
Especially.
Dynamite, Collision. This Saturday, Rhodesia and I will be in the building in Chicago. I am probably, so we went to Mania this year. Of course, this doesn't eclipse Mania. We're going to SummerSlam. All three of us will be in the building for SummerSlam. Doesn't eclipse.
Where's SummerSlam at?
Detroit, baby.
Let's go.
What up, yo?
Detroit basketball.
You know what it is. And Monty Williams is the man.
Yeah, he is.
But this is probably the most excited I've been to go to an AEW show in over a year. And it's probably the most excited I've been to go to a wrestling show outside of WWE Premium Live Event.
Nice.
You said in the last year?
Yeah. Well, farther than that. I just hope it is as big as it needs to be. This show needs to be huge. I'll ask you guys in a second on what's your thoughts on the card that they announced. But I put a poll up on Twitter, I think on Monday. I just said big week for AEW with CM Punk returning and Collision starting on Saturday. When do you plan on watching Collision? 72% said live, 16% said on DVR, 12% said I'm not watching. So you're talking 88% of people are watching, which is a really good number for AEW. Tony Khan came out this week and said that there is not NOT going to be a hard split. This is a soft split, brand split. So he doesn't want to box himself in a corner where he says somebody's only on Dynamite and he wants them for Collision or vice versa. So he says that, yes, there's going to be talent that is focused on one show or the other, but he wants to leave wiggle room. So if he wants to move somebody over so they can be on both shows, if it's a storyline or program, they can do that. I like that. That's probably the best way to start it. Because what you don't want to do is, like I've been bitching about for WWE, is you say it's a draft brand split and then 2 weeks later somebody shows up. So I'm okay with that. What I am worried about though is we want this new show to highlight everybody we haven't seen. Right? The Keith Lees of the world, the Andrades who's coming back, the Miros, the Nyla Roses, hell, a lot of the women wrestlers. We only get typically like one women's match a week on Dynamite. That's who I want to see. So what I don't want to run into is now we get Young Bucks Wednesday and Saturday. Get Punk Wednesday and Saturday.
Don't think we'll be
Orange
getting
Cassidy
Bucks
Wednesday
on
and Saturday.
Saturdays.
You never know.
Don't
Punk
think
did
Bucks
say
on Saturdays.
he got some things to get off his chest.
It's gonna be them hugging, doing a bro
Got some
hug.
things to address, he said. So for you guys, so what's your thoughts about the brand split? Do you wish that it would be a hard split, or are you okay with the soft split?
Initially, I want the hard split. I want to be able to know on Saturdays if I'm making my way out of my life to watch a wrestling show live, I will want to know that, hey, I'm going to see these people tonight that I didn't just see a few days ago. But just hearing his explanation of he doesn't want to be pigeonholed to just that split, I'm okay with it. It's in its infancy stages. Let's see how it plays out. But ideally, before I heard that, I would have wanted a brand split, a hard brand split.
No, I'm good with the soft split, to be honest with you. It's hard creatively to put yourself in a box like that, right? And because, there's injuries, there's a lot of things that could happen. I thought the idea would be that you would see certain superstars on certain brands, right? Like, the Elite on Dynamite, CM Punk and a few other guys, on Collision. And you got to kind of have that, right? You got to kind of give someone a reason to want to see this Saturday show because it's on a tough day. And this kind of gives them that opportunity to see certain stars, but they're not locking themselves into only seeing them on that show, right? Missing out. But I think it's great for the talent that kind of have some flexibility because, look, we want to see the people we want more often, right? But we don't want to see House of Black on Saturday and Wednesday all the time. Maybe I do because I love House of Black. But I do really love these, the promotions they've been doing. I've loved seeing Miro in these commercials, on the show, on the internet. I love what we saw from CM Punk. So it was a very exciting time. I'm really looking forward to the show. I just don't think I'm going to be watching it live every Saturday. I think it's going to be a Sunday afternoon, morning watch for me. That Saturday night is just going to be too tough for me to kind of get into every week.
Will it matter what the card is, or will you already know kind of going into that week, like no matter what, I'm going to just have to tape it, DVR it, and watch it on Sunday?
Here's the tough spot, and I'm sure there's other people that are into this, right? We have big wrestling shows almost every single day of the week. Right? Sometimes I need a break to do something other than wrestling. So on a Saturday night,
how's that Ring of Honor? How's that Ring of Honor going?
That's gone. Yeah, it's gone. Canceled. I ain't thought about Ring of Honor since 2 weeks ago. But look, that's date night with the wife, right? Maybe it's movie night with the kids, right? I need a day to where I can do something besides wrestling. And I'm sure there has to be other people like that, right? Because it's Friday night, we got SmackDown. Saturday night, you got a Collision, right? Like, what other time do you have to do something besides watch wrestling? I know we all love it, but dang, we got to have a break. Like, our life just can't be consumed by one thing. And unfortunately, I have a wife that's not into wrestling, unless it's Roman Reigns in the bloodline. So it's going to be a tough night for a lot of people, but I want to make it work. I want to see what they got.
Rhodesia, what are you feeling like this is appointment viewing for you? We haven't even seen a show yet.
I was going to say, I don't know until I see a show or two. Maybe not even the first show. I'll probably have to see about 2 shows. They got to put a couple shows together for me.
So the card we got this week, they announced yesterday via CM Punk under the bridge in Chicago, said he got some things to get off his chest or things to address. So that tells us we're going to get a Punk promo, which is awesome. He's also in the main event, him and FTR versus Samoa Joe and Bullet Club Gold. They announced this week. It's also Wardlow versus Luchasaurus, Miro versus TBA, Buddy Matthews versus Andrade El Idolo, which I think is hilarious.
But I can't wait to see that one.
I can't wait to see it.
But why you say it's hilarious?
It is absolutely a choice that it is Buddy versus Andrade, seeing that who their significant others are.
Okay, got it.
Rhea and Charlotte. We just saw that at
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania. Love it. I think it's fantastic. And then we got Sky Blue and Willow versus Tony Storm and Ruby Soho. So I think it's a really good card. Once again, we're going, so I'm super excited. If I was watching it on TV, I would be really, really excited for Punk. I'll be excited to see Andrade back and see Miro back. But this feels like, to me, you look at the card. Is this card enough? Is this card enough to pop a huge rating for them and to start Collision off on the right track?
Looking at these posters kind of side by side, yeah, I'll say yeah, because first off, you still got CM Punk, and again, I told you I'm not gonna believe until I actually see him in the flesh on Saturday. But these people here, I'm looking at them. These should be the future stars of your company. So absolutely, they have what I'm seeing here for the matches. This is talent should be able to run your show.
So don't get it twisted. I think this Collision show is huge, and I would honestly rather watch. If I had to make a choice, I would rather watch Collision than watch Dynamite, especially with the soft brand, the talent they have on this show. CM Punk, come on, that has to be a big event. We get to see Miro back. We get to see Andrade back in the match. We have so many returning stars on that show, right? With star power. It's a huge night for wrestling. It's just in a bad time slot. I mean, Saturday night is just a rough time period, but that's a great card, I think. Now, I hope that it does really, really well.
I got a question. I'm about to jump ships just really quick. Like a UFC, I'm correct. They probably have like a show every week, every Saturday.
Damn near. Yep.
I wonder how those numbers do.
And
like,
that's
are
why
people watching it?
I think this thing is overblown when it comes to. There's a lot of
Saturday
conversation
night.
on, hey, this show is going on Saturday night. It fails. People are all out. There is a boxing match on almost every week Saturday. Of course, not a huge one. It happens maybe once a month or so. UFC is running
MMA,
fight nights all the time on Saturdays, and they get the pay-per-views once a month. We get WWE's PLEs once a month on Saturdays. I don't think that's a thing. Once again, it's be the content, man. If the content is worth it, people are going to watch it. Even if you don't watch it live, watch it on your DVR. It's all good.
The thing that's different, though, especially with those live events, is that it's live, right? And you can go to a bar, you can go to a club, you can go to a gathering. They have these things on. That's a totally different feel. And with the PLEs, it's a special event, right? It's almost like an attraction. Collision is a episodic television show that's running every single week with no off season, right? It's almost kind of like, when you watch like up the playoffs, like every game means something, right? Because, somebody's going to go home at the end and then it's going to be over. So you kind of want to watch it. Similar to like a live event, right? There's matches or things that are at stake that mean something. All these Collision shows aren't going to mean something. Just like, most of the wrestling shows, it's going to be, if you're into wrestling, you like seeing matches, maybe there's some good storylines, but I don't think they can produce a show week in and week out that's going to be must-see gathering type television. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am. It's going to be tough.
So speaking of like how you just mentioned, like people being in the bars, watching those other live events, I wonder behind that TNT power, if without any other sports going on right now besides baseball, could that be something that you're in a bar and that's on the TV screen and that you can follow along? Like when you said Collision's a lot like Nitro. I never watched Nitro. What was that feel of Nitro? Was it something you could just be at a bar watching without audio and just, oh, that's crazy. Yeah, like a normal sporting event?
Yeah, I mean,
that's a good question. You remember, Matt, I'm not sure because Rhodesia was probably 12 years old back then. But the good thing about Nitro, they used to have those Nitro parties. Remember that? Yeah. Like in WCW, Eric Bischoff used to tout them. So that was like a thing every Monday with these Nitro parties. However, wrestling isn't in that same space as that was. It wasn't water cooler conversation like it was back in the late 90s. Well,
it needs to be Saturday with CM Punk coming back. Everybody need to be talking about this. So I'm going to ask you guys one last thing on Collision, and we can move on. We actually got a really fun Forbidden Door topic we're going to do. I don't know if you guys had anything else besides that for AEW. So we're fast forwarding a year. It is now June 15th, 2024.
And I'm getting paid to do TFW. Yep.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay. Is Collision, you can't pick in between. It's got to be one or the other. Is Collision the best thing that happened to AEW? Or is Collision the worst thing that happened to AEW?
God, dog. So the person who's leading Collision, that should be the real question for me. Is CM Punk coming back again going to be a good thing for AEW, or is it going to be a bad thing? You know, I'm hype going to the show. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about the show. I'm going to say it's going to be the best thing that happened to AEW.
You know, gosh, guys, I'm kind of concerned because you go back in history, WCW, one of their downfalls was the addition of that Thunder show.
Yep, that's why I asked that question. Yep.
You know, sometimes it's too much of a good thing. Because back in the day, WCW didn't have the creative in place to really support 2 shows. They had 3 hours of Nitro. Then they had another 2 hours of Thunder.
Oh, wow.
And
Nitro was 3 hours?
It was 3
Nitro
hours.
was 3 hours.
That was the first 3-hour wrestling show.
Wow.
And Bischoff even said on record that them adding Thunder to the lineup is basically what was one of the nails in the coffin for WCW.
Because they didn't have the creative. And what have we been talking about? You know, personally on the show, the AEW creative, you know, Tony stretching himself too thin. So it's great that he's adding people to the creative team. So hopefully, and he has a soft launch. You know, there's some couple of things they're kind of doing that kind of help facilitate a better transition into these shows. But man, I'm just really concerned that AEW might go down the same road WCW did. I hope not. What do you think, Matt?
So what was your answer? You going best thing or worst thing?
That's why I started. I'm on the fence on this one, guys. I can't get off. I'm sorry.
When I first posed that question to myself, I was actually going to say worst thing. Because I'm thinking about 2 extra hours. I'm thinking about the dichotomy of CM Punk being back. I'm thinking about just all that. And I'm like, no, it's not going to be the worst thing. I mean, it's going to be one of the others to be the best thing. Simply because of the talent they have on that roster, there's more TV time for them.
Yep.
So even if creative doesn't get better, say creative is what it is, it's been the same crappy part of creative that we have not liked over the last 6 months or so, it's still not going to be the worst thing that happened to them because people are still going to tune in because the majority of the AEW fan base don't care much about the creative. They care about the matches and the wrestlers. That's what they care about. So it won't be horrible or the worst thing. It'd be the best.
The only thing about that, Matt, this is where I go back to WCW. That what you say is 100% true, but WCW had a bigger roster, I think, than AEW does right now. Like, they had a huge roster.
They did, but they didn't have a lot of good talent.
They had a lot of phenomenal talent. We have to go back and revisit. We have to revisit this. They had a huge talent.
You talking about when they started Thunder?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so let's revisit this and let's actually do some research. Let's look and see like what their talent roster was. See, but also that's not going to help because name value is name value. Doesn't mean they're being presented the right way. Right?
But
like,
it goes back to, it was the creative. You know, you said that the fans don't care about the creative, but it really drives the show because we're talking about a Saturday night episodic television show, right? And they're up against the time slot. They're up against, because like, I don't know how many, look, if you look at their fan base, I don't know if fickle's the word, right? But he had I don't want to say it's a go-home show, right before a Collision, but they had a phenomenal show, and it did 71,000. I'm thinking about money. I need the 71,000. 71,000 viewers less than the week before, right? With no competition. Like, their audience, if there's something going on that's big in the world, they're going to check out that. They're going to look at the playoffs. They're going to look at other things and come back to AEW at some point. So they have a fan base that's there for the product, but they also pick and choose when they're going to watch, right? Mm-hmm. So look at what they did with Rampage. Rampage, started out with nice, ratings, but eventually it settled in 300,000 or whatever it is they're doing today. Could that possibly happen to Collision? Hopefully not, but it's a lot of things up in the air.
I think it's absolutely possible. I'm hoping it doesn't. I think it's absolutely possible.
Yeah.
Yep, I do. You guys got anything else for AEW before we go to the fantasy draft?
Allegedly, Wikipedia says that the Stinger.
Jeez.
We can roll fantasy draft too, but the Stinger is born in Omaha, Nebraska. That's what the Wikipedia says.
You know, I think I heard that before.
Okay, but where were they billing him from?
Don't know.
I think it was Florida. I'm talking about WCW.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, because I don't even think they say in AEW.
No, they used to say it was some weird place, like from some weird place. He was like he's parts unknown. He's like a parts unknown person. He's like a parts unknown with all his snow and stuff. Yeah.
I said draft, not a draft. We decided to do the first annual TFW Forbidden Door fantasy card. We all did 6 matches, and it's the promotions AEW and WWE, not New Japan and AEW. Okay, so we put together what, in our opinion, is, we haven't talked about it, have no idea what these cards sound like. We'll put it up, the poll up on Twitter, as we usually do, just so you guys know I'm undefeated so far in any type of draft poll. Shout out to my guys over at Gimmick Infringement. We did that back in January, and of course we did ours a couple months ago. Cleared you guys. This one, I have a feeling.
Tell them what this was about.
For 3, baby. So AEW, WWE, 6 matches. Okay, so we picked 6 matches, and everything was, there was nobody off the table. Of course, if they have to be working now for them to be acceptable to the match card. So this is Forbidden Door, WWE versus AEW fantasy card. Who would like to go first?
Well, see, what I did, I understood the assignment. I got my 6 matches here, and I even have the booking, the creative about it, and what the matches are for. So I can go last since I added that extra layer.
Yeah, because we don't want the show to be 5 hours, so we didn't do that. I just did the card.
Well, because we know how you get. I'll say this person, and you just look at me with crickets.
I'm not saying anything. So, I'm laying out. I'm muting up. So, let's start with you. Seeing that you had the worst draft according to the Twitter poll, we'll start with you this time. I'm muting up. Just give us your 6, brother. However you want to do it.
That's a travesty. Hey, I'll be honest with you.
Which part?
Everything you just said, it's a travesty. I actually had a little bit of difficulty with this one. If I had more time, I didn't originally understand the conversation.
No, not
because
you.
because I was reading it when I was driving. You know, I can only do so much on auto drive, so I missed out towards the end. So, match number 1, I'm going for a workhorse match.
Okay.
So I have to see who is the best worker in the world: Kenny Omega versus Seth freaking Rollins. Who's the greatest wrestler in the world? That match will decide that.
That's your opener?
That's my opener.
Okay.
That's my opener. Next, I got the battle of the Super Kick Party. Usos versus the Young Bucks. And of course, the Usos will slaughter the Bucks. It just is going to happen. All right. Next, Eric Bischoff, who stole my name. Eazy-E, who also stole the original Eazy-E from NWA's name. Controversy equals cash. What 2 men are more confidential? I'm losing the word. Oh my God. Controversial. Then CM Punk.
Controversial.
Oh my God. Controversial. Who's more controversial than CM Punk versus the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes?
Oh wait, I'm sorry, you confused me with Eric Bischoff. So time out. Wait, is this a triple threat?
He says controversy. Oh my God. This is one.
Wait, I'm confused here. I'm writing it down.
I said Eric Bischoff said controversy equals cash, and who's more controversial?
I'll be
than CM Punk versus
Bischoff
Cody Rhodes.
Bischoff can't stand AEW. Hey, that's good booking though by E. E is like, man, we know Bischoff can't stand AEW. He's running in on my show.
Hey, maybe he should. He should be the special guest referee. Book that. All right, then
man.
I got to represent for my ladies. Two of my favorites: Bianca Belair versus Jade. Just for the interest alone and the mic work, I would love to see those two face to face standing across from each other. All right. And then I got to go also Battle of the Mouths. I got Becky Lynch, the promo queen herself, versus AEW's promo queen, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Another more mic work. And because I got to be difficult, I got a seventh match, y'all. I got a lucky 7. Oh, shoot. I missed one because I put it out of order. My main event is champion versus champion. Roman Reigns versus MJF with a full hour before the match just so they can talk junk to each other back and forth.
Oh, I thought you were about to say wrestle because I was about to say they ain't wrestling an hour.
They're just gonna talk back and forth. And so, because I gotta be difficult, I got my I got a what do they call it? A buy-in match.
The buy-in.
It's the House of Black versus the Judgment Day.
Nice.
That's it.
It's a good card. It's a really good card.
That's pretty good. I'm going last, Matt. You go. We saving the best for last this time around.
I'm going Charlotte versus Britt Baker. I'm going Bianca versus Jamie Hayter.
Oh, you going so fast.
I'm going Usos versus Young Bucks. I'm going Cody versus CM Punk. So you and I thought alike on some of these matches. E. Semi-main is Seth Rollins versus MJF. Main event is Roman Reigns versus Kenny Omega.
Nice. Wow, that was straight and to the point. All right, so my opener, I didn't get a buy-in because this is just straight fire. So we don't even need a buy-in. People are already going to just buy it because it's the Forbidden Door, the TFW annual Forbidden Door fantasy, whatever you just called him at. So start us off. Io Sky versus Toni Storm. We got Rhea Ripley versus Jamie Hayter.
That's a good one.
In the middle to kind of, bring the crowd back down, but also have some nostalgia there. It's going to be for old time's sake. It's a retirement match between Edge and Christian.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
I think we all thought alike on this one. Battle of the best tag team. I call it the battle of the super kick. The loser will receive a cease and desist, and they can't super kick anymore between the Usos and the Young Buck.
That's fantastic.
And we know they know about those cease and desists. How about this? I have a co-main event. Logan Paul versus Bryan Danielson. And we got Bad Bunny versus MJF.
Wow.
Boom.
That's a really good card.
All y'all on Twitter.
You lose off the strength of not having Kenny or Roman Reigns.
I know.
So you lost off the strength, but you had some really good matches in there.
I'm telling a whole
matches
story.
in there.
I wanted to have two women's matches. That was important to me because it would have been.
I did too.
Yeah,
I had two women's matches, but I also did neglect to put Kenny or Roman.
But I had to have the retirement match. This is the retirement. Oh, wait, I forgot. So the retirement match. So the story built on that one is for old time's sake. Christian was trying to tell the story that he's better than Edge since they broke up.
I don't care about none of that story. I do have a question. So you didn't put Cody Rhodes.
I did not.
Who has been in both shows.
Nope.
Both promotions.
Nope.
You did not put him. Nope. So you didn't put Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Kenny Omega.
Nope.
Did you put Seth Rollins on the show?
Nope.
Yeah, that card is trash.
No, it's not.
Hey, no offense though. For the woman who actually created this talking conversation, how did you manage to have the worst?
Because
lineup?
I'm looking at it as what I'm booking as dream matches. I'm not necessarily doing just star power. I'm also taking into consideration some of these people chemistry and how they will go in the ring with each other. So that's why I did that. And then you
put Bianca Belair on your card?
Did not. I didn't want her to go against Jade. I know that match quality wouldn't be that good. I know it would look good, but it won't be.
H.
See, this is what I'm talking. This is what
it's a great car.
About.
Hey, I would buy it. I would go. There's no way in hell that car is competing with Mines or E's. I can tell you that.
Yes, it is, because I'm thinking
you started strong.
Box.
You started strong, then you did, and you went retire mix. Because look, I was gonna try to cheat and try to figure out some way to do Sting and Taker on my card. And I was like, nah. Like,
but Taker's not. Taker's he's gone.
Right.
You can't do that.
But E typically don't listen, so I'm like, I can scoot it past him. He won't pay attention. Rhodesia probably catch it. That was fun. Good stuff.
Yeah,
all right.
So cool.
We'll put the poll up on Twitter, and you guys can vote, or you can just leave us a message and let us know who you think won. Anything else for AEW before we transition over to WWE?
Nope.
Nope, not
Ready
for
for
me.
Collision. Just excited for Collision. See how this plays out.
Yeah, very, very excited. And looks like, I'm guessing they'll have about 9,000, 9,500 people.
That's good.
Which isn't
great.
bad, considering that there's another 6,700 or whatever it is for Dynamite
right
next week here
Mm.
for that show too, which will be in the building for that one also. The big news that came out actually today surrounding WWE is allegedly Carlito is on his way back to the WWE. He was scheduled for an indie show, and the indie promoter stated that he was told that Carlito had to cancel because he is heading back to WWE.
So when I was looking for male talent, when I was getting ready for the Forbidden card, I actually saw him, and I'm like, huh. So it was more than just Backlash, huh?
That's the word.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't personally think that's that huge of a deal. I mean, it's cool. I was a big Carlito fan, loved his Backlash, but, like, it's cool. I just think it's cool. I don't think it's anything more than that, if it's true. Today is the 1-year anniversary of Vince McMahon's first allegation.
Oh, my God. Move on to the next topic, please.
Just saying. I just wanted to share that.
No,
it is. I'm just saying. But how far have we come, though? 365 days later, WWE is better than it has been in a long time. And I don't care if he's still writing all these shows.
Oh, God.
In my heart of hearts, I feel like it's because he's not there all the way. Drew McIntyre. So this came out on Monday that Drew will not be back on TV until the right creative is made for him. Shout out to Drew. I wish everybody cared about their TV persona and their creative as much as Drew McIntyre. No, I don't want people walking away. No, I don't want people quitting. But Drew, I'm sure, feels like, hey, I am a main event talent and I have not been treated as such. I don't have a problem with it. What's your guys' thoughts on Drew's stance and being like, hey, you got to give me some good creative before I'm back?
Drew has been a jobber before. He knows what that is like. He knows how his mental health was like, and he's been top dog. Like, I'm so proud of him that he knows what his value is, and he's going to utilize it. And especially even if he doesn't come back, he has 6 months left on his contract?
Something like that.
So if they force him to finish off the contract of extra TV time before he could leave, so be it. But no, he understands his worth, and bravo to him. He should not be anything less than a champion or a champion contender.
Yeah. Look, I look forward to seeing Drew back in WWE, and I look forward to his renewed push. I think I said that before, but definitely, do you guys think he's been misused?
No, I don't think so. I mean, some people felt that he should have won in Cardiff, but because that wasn't the bigger picture here, I'm okay with that. But I wanted him initially to beat Roman. I did.
I think he's been misused because of the character that they had him. I think they did some really big damage to him with that sword. I do.
Yeah. But since when he first
it wasn't about him. Yeah, it wasn't about him needing to beat Roman in Cardiff in September. Absolutely, we knew that wasn't the case. But he was not what he needed to be and should have been. So yeah, he's still on the show, like he's still in a good role, but we know what Drew can be. Drew could be a top guy. Drew's not a top guy from the way he's been presented.
But I think he can be. I think he
that's what I'm
showed some.
saying.
I think he showed a bit of that. I think
he
it went
knows he can be.
downhill after Cardiff. But people still popped for him. I just always hated that sword. I was always said like the sword is like a dangerous weapon, and we're advertising this dangerous weapon. I've always been against the sword. I never connected to it, but I guess I'm not. He's Scotland.
I gotta
right?
be honest.
Scottish.
I was not against it. I
can't stand
Vince,
the sword.
I'm not a Vince guy, but I know that's probably Vince's trying to give him a thing
to sell. Yep, sell.
Yeah, he exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think from a presentation perspective, I think he's always been upper card at the most, right? And just with a few tweaks, you can make him a main event. Creative. Now, I think the things he's been doing with the Brawling Brutes is kind of a little beneath him.
Right.
But I feel like maybe he was in the holding pattern for something else, right? Because he can't necessarily get into the mix with Roman, because Roman's doing something else. But like I said, I want to see him in WWE. I don't want to see him leave the company. I don't want to see him in AEW. I don't think he'll be used correctly there. But yeah, I'm hoping that he just stays and they figure it out. And I want to see him on my TV.
And I feel like he's gonna stay because he is kind of adamant about his character and how he's being presented. I want him to stay in WWE as well.
Oh man, I don't care where he goes. I just want him to be as good as I know he can be. That's kind of how I feel. I do think that's probably WWE.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want him presented the way we know he can be. Something similar to the way he was in NXT, but of course at a much higher level. You guys both watched. Rhodesia, I know you watched. Did you watch SmackDown Friday? Main event was Jey and Austin Theory.
Yes.
So, question for both of you. Can Jey be a legit main singles act?
Oh, Rhodesia hype already.
In WWE. And when I say legit, I mean not just for a 60, 90-day run or a 60, 90-day program. I'm talking after all of this bloodline story is over, can you see Jey as someone that can stay in the upper mid-card to main event until he's done?
That is a very, very tough question, and I'm about to start talking out of both sides of my neck. Today, June 15th, when we're recording, I'm going to say no, just because how I felt they've made him look these last few weeks, trying to figure out whose side he's going to be on. I'm going to say no, because his little brother had a fight for him, had to, beat the bully up for him. I'll say no. I want him to be the next tribal chief. That's what I've been saying before. So how can that happen and he can't be the number one guy, like you said, after 60 or 90 days? I don't know how that's possible. But so right now, to answer your question, I don't see it this very moment. But there's been so many twists and turns and surprises in this whole bloodline thing to begin with. Who knows? But no.
I like main event Jey Uso. I liked him in that. I liked him in that spot. However, because just to also look at it, the way he's changed his body in the past couple of years versus where it is. Can you look at Jimmy's body type? They both were kind of that body type for a long period of time. But Jey is probably has a strict diet, workout routine. He really cares about how he looks fit. I think he looks like money. He looks like somebody who can carry himself in a main event spot. Now, I would see him settle down probably in the mid card if he were to be a singles guy. He's somebody who can occasionally put the upper card, maybe occasionally give him in the main event spot. But I think that he will kind of settle in the middle of the card. I can see him being a parental U.S. or IC type champion, not necessarily a world champion. That's my take on it.
So you guys both kind of feel similar that the answer is kind of no. So then I guess then my follow-up question is, and I don't disagree. I don't know if I agree. I don't know. But my follow-up question then is, if that's not the case, can you still have him be the one that triumphs Roman Reigns? I'm not saying
yes, you absolutely can.
When this bloodline story is over, it needs to be over. Like, we don't need another tribal chief, and it continues to go on. I know that's a story right now. They're saying, hey, Roman wants to groom you, Jey, to be the tribal chief, but you got to stay with us, et cetera, et cetera. Is it possible, though, Jey is still the end game to the bloodline story, even though he is not going to be a main eventer coming out of the bloodline story?
Yes. I think that he could be a main guy for that 60 to 90 day run. Even maybe after he would beat Roman. Just saying. I just don't think when you're talking about like for the company past a 90 day or past a campaign, I can't see him as that number one. And the reason why I see him at that 60 to 90 days because we have been invested in him for so long. But after that, I don't think so. Just like I didn't see it with Sammy. If Sammy would have won back in January, he would have been hot for me as far as a champ 60, 90 days, but that'd have been it. I don't think that his fandom, how the level of it will be that long.
I remember back in the day, I'm not sure if you guys watched NWA back in the day. But there was a guy who beat Ric Flair back when Ric Flair was hot. His name was Ron Garvin.
Rugged Ronnie Garvin. He was
Rugged
in WWF.
Ronnie Garvin when he's in WWF, right? And he beat Ric Flair, and I think the crowd was there for it. And then he won the world championship, and then he lost the championship, and then we didn't really hear from him again. But everybody was there for him when he won, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that if he could dethrone Roman, I think people will be there for it. How long of a reign he will have, that's the question. What are you thinking, Matt? You posed the question.
I was just watching him on Friday, and I'm like, man, there is so much money in Jey. Like, Jey has to be the one that ends Roman. I don't know if it's the end Roman's title reign. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to play out because Cody still's got to get his. Mm-hmm. But maybe Cody doesn't get his against Roman. Maybe Cody gets his with that same title against somebody else. I don't think Cody has to be married to Roman. Yes,
into beating Roman, he should be married to winning the belt, but not necessarily beating Roman.
Like, I don't know if Cody loses anything if he beats somebody else for that title that Roman has. Now, I do think that it helps Cody if he beats Roman, because damn, you got the title your dad never got, and you just defeated him for the first time in 3 years. I think that helps. But I don't think they're married. I don't think that it has to be Roman. But when I watch Jey and I watch the bloodline, I'm just like, man, this story started with them two. How does it not end with them two? And I guess it still can end with them two, with Roman dropping the title, but that just seems like it's out of order.
Yeah.
The same way I felt like it wasn't Cody's time yet in April. It was a lot more meat on the bone with the bloodline story. I still think that now. So it's like, we know Cody's not getting the title shot at SummerSlam. He's not getting it at Survivor Series. He's not going to get it the next time in Saudi. So now we're already in January of the Rumble. If you kind of look at the Roman Reigns schedule. And I'm sure it ain't going to be at the Rumble. So now you're talking about WrestleMania 40 in Philly. So we're back at that. Minimally back at that. I don't know how you get through whatever they have planned for this upcoming premium live event, Money in the Bank in London, how you get through Detroit and SummerSlam with the bloodline and then go back to it. That's the part that I don't get. But I look at Jey and I'm just like, man, like, this is about Jey and Roman. This is where it should end. I just don't know where the end game could be at for it to end with him.
So if we had to put you on the hook right now of saying after the 60, 90 days, could Jey still be main event Jey? Meaning like...
Oh, I think so. For sure.
Okay.
I don't think he wants to, because then where does that leave Jimmy? Like, they're a tag team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I think he surely can be a top guy.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting question.
Speaking of top guys, and you guys know I am a Karrion Kross guy. I am a Scarlett guy.
But
this feud with AJ, he's got to show and prove. There's a lot of people who are not high on Karrion Kross, fan-wise. I don't know how he's looked backstage or in the office. But he's feuding with AJ. If we don't walk away from this feud and match or matches, and we say, damn, that was great, that may be an indictment on my boy.
But to be fair, okay, match quality for sure. But to be fair, he's still ice cold. I'm talking about the phenomenal AJ Styles. He's still pretty cold.
He's hotter than Karrion Kross is.
Touche. But I'm saying he's not a hot person. So for you to say that if he's show and prove, but you also got to consider who he's dancing with in this.
I'm talking about match quality.
Okay, no, match quality. Yes, yeah. Okay,
yeah,
for sure, 100%. Yeah.
Man, it's gonna be tough, man. AJ's getting up there in age. You know, I know he doesn't look it, but he definitely is. I'm with Rhodesia on this one. It's not like AJ is the hottest wrestler in the company.
Oh, wow.
You know what? I thought about Karrion. You know what Karrion needs? I think that would kind of help him out. I don't think it would significantly help him out, but it'll help.
Bald head back.
There we go.
Well, he definitely. I don't know about the bald head.
Give me that bald head.
I don't know about the bald head, but he definitely needs a haircut. You know, he needs like a little fade up in there or something. I don't know what he's doing with it, but he needs. He looks
pretty. Like his gimmick is nothing about being pretty, and he's got incredible looking hair. Like, dude, man, it's not that
right.
That,
his hair is beautiful. No, his hair is beautiful. When he has all his hair, it's thick. It's glorious, luxurious.
Yeah. It needs to be styled. It needs to be styled in some kind of a way. That's what I'm talking about. But no, I think he needs a finisher. Cause like his finisher looks really weak to me. Like his little sleeper hold, he doesn't really hold it that tight. I think he needs something that's a little more fierce looking, like some type of, I don't know if it's a slam or something a little more fierce than that little, because a lot of his moves just don't look there, if you know what I mean. I don't know. That's just me on it.
And that's why I think we're going to see all that in this feud. Or, you know what I mean? Like, we'll be able to see, like, all right, I can still see through your work. Or, okay, you just haven't been in there with the right dance partners.
And I think that's probably what H did that. He did team him up with AJ Styles is because of that, I think. He wants people to see how good he can work. He just needs to cut his hair all the way off.
Y'all got anything else for SmackDown?
Not SmackDown, no. SmackDown was.
I got something that's burning. I got something that's burning for me to talk about. A promo segment from Monday.
I was about to say you probably need to go see a doctor if you got something burning.
Been there, done that. They give you penicillin. They tell you like it should clear you out in 2 days. You get right back to work. The crowd hijacked Finn's promo, and that boy was begging for mercy on Monday. That was uncomfortable.
Is that the one when they were saying the what?
No, they were singing Seth's song throughout the entire promo.
Yep. I remember now. Okay.
And Seth tried to help him. I think he did it wrong. He tried to help him, and they just kept going. And you could see in Finn's eyes that he wasn't comfortable. And I understand, right? I get, hey, this is the money promo to take us to Money in the Bank in a couple weeks. But boy, that was rough to watch. That was really rough to watch. And they didn't get their point across. It was supposed to be that big, you took everything from me, years ago, now I'm taking everything from you. And then we never kind of really got to that.
I did have a note here that the shit crowded on him. The crowd shitted on him. Rhodesia euphemisms, right? Euphemisms.
The shit crowded on him. And when the shit crowded on him, I couldn't believe it either.
Yeah.
That's funny. No, but it was interesting because I like those kind of things because I like to see how the pros get through it.
Yeah, for sure.
Something like that similarly happened to the moon. What's his name?
To the moon.
NXT is on SmackDown now.
Yeah. I keep on
Cameron
calling
Grimes.
Corbin. There we go.
Cameron Grimes in NXT. Something similar happened to him, where I can't remember if the crowd was chanting what, but they threw him off, and he was trying to catch it, and he kept repeating himself, and he just couldn't catch it, and they got through the segment, but it was really, really uncomfortable. And I saw the same thing in Finn.
Mm-hmm.
He kept leading with, "You're going to hear what I got to say," and he kept trying to lead with that promo. And I thought Seth could have done a much better job of stopping the crowd. So he tried a couple times, but the way he tried it was, you got to tell the crowd what you want him to do.
Yep.
Right. And I'm sure
yes.
He didn't want to tell the crowd to stop, because then what if they don't stop? Now you look stupid too. So I understand that, but I thought he could have done a better job of doing something opposed to just saying, first he said, you guys are having a good time tonight. And then he went with he held the mic out to them when they were singing. And then he went to Finn, and he's just like, if you got something to say, just say it. That was his perfect opportunity to include the crowd into that statement.
Yeah.
If you got something to say, I mean, there was just ways around it. And so it sucked because we missed that moment. Now maybe they can do a pre-tape next week, and he can get out how they wanted to hear, but that was his moment, and they kind of poo-pooed on it. But man, he was struggling out there on Monday. Finn was.
Well, nothing else to say on that on my part, but just KO is doing it on purpose. He listened to the TFW pod last week, and he is doing this crybaby hyper tantrums on purpose. You saw it on Raw. He did it again.
I enjoy it. I think it's fun.
Hey,
it's a little get on my nerves a little bit.
Hey, you know what though, Rhodesia?
Yo.
I think it's working, especially for maybe younger kids, because my oldest son, Ethan, 9 years old, he saw Kevin Owens. He listened to Kevin Owens. He actually enjoyed it. He's like, "Oh, that guy, KO, he's really excited right now.
Yeah.
Wow, he's mad, right? Like it caught his attention because he was doing something else at the time. And when KO started going crazy, it caught his attention. He's like, "Oh," he started listening to him. So I mean, it's working. You know, it's catching somebody.
And another reason why it's working, because it allows Sammy now to be the calm one. Sammy has never been the calm one in his entire career in WWE. He's always been the conspiracy theorist or the really hyper one. Like now he's able to be in that position where I'm calming KO down. Like, dude, relax, man. Hey, we got this. Chill out. And that's something we haven't seen either. So it adds to their synergy and dichotomy. I do wonder, like, what's next for them though. They need like an actual feud, and they don't have one. Like Imperium, they've been going back and forth with. Match was great on Monday, but I need something, like something they can sink their teeth into.
What other hot team besides the Usos would you have them face?
Pretty Deadly.
I said hot.
I love Pretty Deadly. I love Pretty. That doesn't matter. When did that matter?
True that. It is a soft split.
Seriously.
But hey, guys, like,
what other tag teams do they have?
They got a lot of tag teams, but the key word was
true,
hot.
But true male tag teams. Let me think about it. Well, Street Profits.
They're on
Street
SmackDown.
Profits. You got
I'm looking at all of them.
Oh, but they're
War
tag
Raiders,
champs, right? So they can go either way.
They can go everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. They can go anywhere.
The War Raiders, yep. Which I love the War Raiders. I know y'all don't like them, but I love them.
Alpha Academy.
Alpha Academy.
You love the who?
War
Who
Raiders.
do you love, Rhodesia?
War Raiders.
Is that their name?
Oh, Viking Raiders. My bad.
Viking Raiders. The Viking War Raiders.
Hard to love them. You don't know their
the
name.
Viking Experience. The Viking Experience.
Oh, the
That's
experience.
Actually, they're the Viking Experience. That's who they are.
Man, when that shit crowd, man, that was crazy.
Yeah, but they
crowded so bad on that.
They need to face another hot team. But guys, speaking of hot, I got a hot run in real quick.
Uh-oh.
It's time for Easy's extraordinary random topic that's never existed because it's because it's random. I got a fan question.
Okay.
John Cena and Roman Reigns have arguably been the hottest wrestlers WWE has produced in probably 15 years, right?
Okay.
Who's had the better run? Would you take John Cena's run or would you take Roman Reigns' run?
I don't want to be accused of recency bias, so I'm going to go with John Cena. John Cena is the absolute man.
When you said take the run, who am I? Am I Vince McMahon? Am I just a fan watching at home? Like, who am I?
Getting both sides. What you think? Take it how you want it.
From a business perspective, it would still have to be Cena because the amount of time he was on top. If you look at the numbers from as a company,
right?
Roman's the top guy because they're putting up billions of dollars of revenue each year that Roman's been champ. But if we just look at t-shirt, merch sales, all that, it's still Cena. If we're talking about entertainment, it is by far Roman Reigns. And I don't think anybody can dispute it. Even the biggest John Cena fan can say that Cena doesn't have a storyline that touches the bloodline.
Not in the
stuff
slightest.
he did with stuff he did with Punk, incredible. He did some The Rock stuff was some of the best stuff we had seen in over 5, 6, 7 years. Actually, Rock coming back is what got me back enthralled in wrestling. I mean, I would still kind of catch it here or there, but when he came back and hosted WrestleMania, we were in. Okay, I'm back in now. The stuff he did with Orton, Edge, excellent stuff. It ain't nothing like this bloodline masterpiece that we're seeing though. And yeah, I know it's Cena was always by himself. He didn't have a mouthpiece. He didn't have a
and
clique.
Cena was always a face.
I get all
like
that.
it or not.
Hey,
he was booked as a face. He was always booked as a face.
I hated it.
Yep,
hey, man, could you imagine if we could have gotten a heel Cena though?
The closest to the heel turn. Remember that move that he did in the ring?
I think he even said like they had like new music for him and everything.
Who?
Yeah,
Cena?
I think they did. Yeah.
Yes.
I heard that. That was a rumor. Did he say that?
They said Vince
was that just a rumor?
Sign off on him. No, he talked about it.
He can't go away from no.
Yeah.
He can't go away from that.
But yeah,
I heard that they seriously considered it, and I think at the 9th hour or something, Vince he axed it. But I know that you're a big Cena fan, Rhodesia. Would you say the same?
I said it already.
Perspective?
I said it already. Absolutely.
You going with Cena?
Absolutely. Because I can't. Roman has been the man outside of how pretty he looks to me. He's been like the man for 2.5, 3 years now. When you look at John Cena, he was the man shortly into his early in his career, and he was going hard for 16 years. So and everything that you just mentioned between the Punk, the Rock, all of them, Edge, I mean, he killed it, and the kids loved him. Yeah, he didn't have that meaningful storyline like this bloodline thing, but I think everybody would agree we have never seen anything like this bloodline storyline, and we probably won't ever see this again. So, but for me, absolutely.
To be fair, though, don't forget about the big dog run. He was a top guy.
He was a top guy. He was a top guy there. Yep.
So don't forget about. I mean,
I'm not going to forget that.
If you include that time though, you said 2.5 years, 3 years. Now you got to add those 5 or 6 years on it. So now you're talking an 8-9 year run.
Yeah, it's a similar run.
I'm not, but again, I'm still saying that Cena was more over as far as selling merchandise. Cena was really the only thing in the company too toward the end. Of course, Roman has too. We had a pandemic in there too, so that actually is kind of unfair when you look at it fully. But I still would roll with Cena.
Yeah, for me, I thought about it because like I wasn't a big Cena fan, but I get it and I understand the appeal, the merchandise we did for kids and the Make-A-Wish, and it's a big part of WWE. He is and was a huge star. But Roman is shining so bright, and guess what? I don't think he's even peaked yet. I don't think this is peak Roman.
No,
I think we still have some more years for him to continue to burn at this high level. And this bloodline feud, like I said, for me, it's right up there. I don't know if I like this bloodline feud better than Hawk and Macho from back in the day, because that was a awesome storyline back in the day, as a kid. Like, I don't remember all of it. I just remember loving it. But for me, matches, Cena, I'm never going to say Cena is a bad worker. His style just wasn't inciting for me as a fan, as a viewer. I would say that from a match perspective as well, that Roman Reigns' matches have been much more exciting and something that I would love to see. I think it's been just a phenomenal rise, and I don't think it's anywhere close to being over currently. But sticking with Roman Reigns, and Matt, you mentioned his mouthpiece, Paul Heyman. He did an interview with some random site, and he talked about the future of wrestling. And I thought it was pretty interesting. He said in this interview, and I'm quoting the interview here, we do movie scenes in the locker room to further tell the story. 3, 4, 5 minute movie scenes showing the vulnerability of his character, the anguish of his character, the worry of his character, the sensitivities of his character, idiosyncrasies, the nuances of his character with his cousins, by his cousins, with the spotlight on his cousins at all times. Sometimes on me on the psychopathic nature of appealing the tribal chief, while at the same time, while also appeasing him based on the fear he could behead me at any time. He went on to argue that if you told someone a couple years ago about the levels nuanced to Roman Reigns' character, you wouldn't be believed. He argued that the locker room segments used to mainly, He argued that the locker room segments used to mainly just be cheap, certain appeal. Actually, I didn't really get that sentence. I read it multiple times. But I have to agree with them, guys, as far as I think that some of those locker room segments and some of the backstage things that they've done have been more entertaining than some of the matches that I've seen. It's been better than any interview that I've seen. And I talked to you guys about a while ago. Well, this is years ago when WWE were doing the cinematic matches. And I think this is one of the main reasons why the Bloodline story is so entertaining. We get to see all the emotions play out in the locker room, right? And ultimately that bleed into the ring. I think that wrestling has to evolve. Now, I know that we hardcore fans, we don't want our wrestling to change, but the bottom line is it has to evolve to get to a bigger audience. Like it did with the rock and wrestling era, like it did with the Attitude era in the 90s. If it doesn't evolve, we're going to continue seeing these shows like Dynamite produce great shows and only get 800, 900 viewers. WWE has the biggest production. I think now is the time for them, and I don't think they're going to do it because like they have a system and they're not going to stop it. But what if they put more emphasis on these story-driven cinematic moments backstage? What if they did more cinematic matches to allow the average viewer, not wrestling viewer, but the average viewer to understand wrestling, right? Because when a lot of people watch wrestling, they just don't get it. But they can understand something that's very cinematic, that's very movie-like. And they can get a movie-like experience with more cinematic presentations, more angles like the bloodlines that bleed into an actual match. So what did you guys think about them doing more cinematic scenes in wrestling?
So I read that article. I read the first part too of his not safe answer, but then leading on just here on the cinematic part of it. I'm all for it. I love production. I think everybody knows on this show that, especially Matt, we love production. For me though, my only worry is I don't want that to turn into the WWE of the past. And what I mean by that is years ago, I remember watching Raw, SmackDown, and it would be 37 minutes before we actually got a match on our TV screens. And I remember bitching about it back then. So to me, yeah, I love the cinematic thing. You are absolutely right. This Bloodline story, it has grown and blossomed into this because we got a lot of that backstage video packages. But they just got to be really careful with that because, again, it's still a wrestling show. I still want to watch wrestling. I don't want it to be 2 hours and 30 minutes of stories and 30 minutes of wrestling like it was before.
I don't. It's a tough question. We need to have a serious conversation one day also on the positives that the Thunderdome had.
It's a controlled environment. It was a controlled environment.
You didn't get Hell in a Cell, Jimmy J, and Roman in the regular arena. You wouldn't be able to hear them talk. This Roman character spurred from him talking during the matches, and you really could hear it during the pandemic era. I always loved the cinematic matches. I love the ones that Sting and Darby did in AEW. Of course, AJ and Taker at Mania, which at the time we were like, damn, they did that.
Yeah,
that was classic. Incredible.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm down for that. But this goes back to, though, the type of fan you are, right? Like, I don't watch wrestling just for wrestling. I never have. I never will. If that was the case, then I would watch 7 days a week. Wrestling's on, I'm gonna watch it. I got to be involved somehow. I got to be in mostly invested in the character or in the story that's being told. However we get there, I'm down for it. Even Lucha Underground, where it was taped like a TV show.
Was it? Or is it? Or
people died in Lucha Underground. Like, they got killed.
Oh,
like, it was a TV show.
Soap opera.
So it was soap opera. I can understand how people couldn't get into it. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's.
I loved it though.
I don't think there was enough eyes on it. I don't think there was enough eyes on it.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. But I thoroughly enjoy Lucha Underground. You got to be careful of how you do it though, because people still pay to see the match in the arena. So that is still, at the end of the day, the focal point is still that ring in the center of that arena, and you got to get us invested into your matches. But no, I'm down for it. I don't know if I would want like something completely different than what we've seen, but I'm open for it. Like that, I'm not like, oh, I'm opposed to it. Nope, leave that in the pandemic era. No, stop doing pre-taped interviews in the back. Give me everything live in the ring. No, I'm not that.
I just think it's just fascinating because I really think that, especially with WWE and their high production, that they can do so much in that type of environment. And I think it would be they can mix it in, right? You get the live experience, but give these shows more of a cinematic appeal to it. Because, if you have a story-driven show, did you guys ever watch Glow on Netflix?
The first season.
First season is really good.
Yeah. We didn't watch second season because by the time we were about to, they had canceled the series. I'm like, well, I don't want to get invested and watch season 2 and know that.
Yes, season 2 made the mistake of it strayed so far from the actual wrestling show. It went to a lot of drama. But the original one, it was a lot of wrestling, but it was a lot of story with characters. And WWE can do that in a huge way. And also cinematically, like for instance, like it'd be tricky for them to do, like with AEW when they had that what's that match they had? I had a note, but I lost the note. The match where MJF threw Chris Jericho off the cage, and then at the end we see. Was that Blood and Guts? Yeah, and then, we look down and we see, Chris Jericho, land on pillows. And so he still managed to hurt himself. What if that was in a controlled environment and they could actually put special effects behind that? Right? That moment would have been huge if they could have done that.
Well, think about, and they did when we had, what was the name of the match on the football field in the Jaguar Stadium? It was on the pay-per-view. Remember, it was the main event. It was
another anarchy in the stadium or something.
It was
Stampede of the stadium or something.
Yeah, Stadium Stampede.
Yeah,
man, how much fun was that? That was like one of the better matches of the entire year.
I remember, was that when my man got locked? Somebody got locked in the cooler.
All of it, yeah.
All of it. It was just so cool. That was such a good one.
All of it. Well, the good thing is, The Rock ain't got no job. Bring The Rock back, boy. The wrestling gods ate his ass up last week.
Oh man,
poor Rock. I mean, of course, it's tongue in cheek. There ain't no such thing as poor Rock.
Yeah.
His tequila's doing fantastic. He's back with the Fast franchise, but Young Rock got canceled, which I really enjoyed that show, so that sucked. But XFL, they said that they lost $30 million. So they had to lay off some folks. Black Adam, of course, we know did not fare well at all. So this is the most I think The Rock has put up L's since he only had $7 in his pocket. And it's all because he didn't come back.
There we go.
That's what it was. Yeah,
he did not come back to WrestleMania and do what he was supposed to do with Roman.
Yep.
So I don't feel bad for you, Rock. This is going to keep happening until you come back. If you hear my voice, Dwayne, make it right, man. Come back. WrestleMania 40 in Philly. Cody can wait another year. We'll give Cody 41. Maybe it'll be in the Falcon Stadium in Atlanta. That'd be really, really cool.
Let's go.
next year, Dwayne, let's make it right. Then we can get Black Adam 2 started.
Bring it off.
Wait,
no, he's been removed from that. I thought him and DC.
We'll bring it back. We'll tell him we'll bring it back. Yep.
I guess if he and Fast got back together, so yeah, guess anything's possible.
And it could be Old Rock on BET instead of Young Rock.
Shout out to Tyler Perry for buying BET. I think that's legit now, right? Second network that he's bought. Good stuff, Tyler Perry.
If all this does though is get us Madea movies for 23 hours,
you good
a day
you
on
good?
BET?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not good.
Oh,
and I think it was the worst thing in the history. I bet you do.
Come on.
23 hours. No.
Hey, no,
I was even watching Madea movie.
I was a big Madea fan, but y'all see the last one that was on Netflix?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, don't watch it. It was horrible. Oh my god.
Was it a Netflix only movie?
Yes, it was one of his. He had signed a contract to do some Netflix movies, and that was one of them. Oh, it was a bad movie.
A lot of those Netflix only movies is hit and miss. Now I go on Rotten Tomatoes before I even load it up. I go on Rotten Tomatoes to see, and a lot of them average like 36%. And I'm like, all right, then I'm gonna kind of hold off on that. Speaking of, we just watched Shazam 2. I don't get the hate. I thought that was a really good movie.
I thought it was really good too. People were hating on it.
Yep, they kind of dogged it a little bit. Of course, it was no Spider-Man 2. That movie was beyond incredible. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. I did. What else did I have for? And I hate I have to do this because typically everything he says I don't agree with. But Road Dogg.
Oh gosh, what happened here?
Yesterday on Twitter, he is not wrong. People were piling on him. He was talking about Io Sky, and he said, talking about her entrance. He said, I don't know if she's acting drunk or what, and why she's walking like that, but I love Io. My wife loves her. And people were like, just like dissing him.
Aw.
Wow, what were they saying?
He's telling the truth.
What were they saying? What were they offended by?
They're offended by, I don't know, man, but I guess the cool thing is just to bag on Road Dogg, and I'm all about bagging on Road Dogg when he needs to be bagged on. He said some really questionable things over the last couple years. This ain't one of them, though. Her entrance is completely different than any other time you see her. He is right in that. When she first came with that music to NXT, that was the only time you saw her really was in her entrance. And she had that kind of swag walk to the ring. She still does that now, but she never walks like that any other time. She doesn't walk like that when she's with Damage Control. Yeah. She doesn't walk like that in promos backstage. So I understand what he's saying. People just wanted to bag on him. It's like, no. That time I got to give Road Dogg some bail. I never thought I would give Road Dogg bail. Road Dogg's actually right.
That's a good point. You're right about it. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, she only does that walk and portrays herself just during that entrance.
Yep.
I thought about that. She's kind of strayed from that character.
Yeah. I thought about that a couple months ago, and I was like, when she did it, I was just happy because that's one of my best.
Well, we don't get to see her entrances often.
In the music, so I'm like, I'll take it. But when she did, I was kind of like,
wow.
I don't get it. Why are you doing that still? I loved it, but there you go. What else, guys? Y'all got anything else?
It's so little, and that's wrong. I just said it's so little. But did y'all see that Natalya said that every time she's her whole career she's been the good girl, and it's gotten her nowhere?
I saw her promo on Monday, and she's just like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing after I lost in 69 seconds. And
she didn't say that. She didn't say that. She just said being a good girl, being good this whole time. Where has it gotten her? And she said nowhere. So we'll see. We'll see on the 4th attempt, 5th attempt, 87th attempt.
I was saying, Natty knows I love her.
Yeah,
I've told her as much on Twitter. But Natty, we've seen you as a heel just as many times we've seen you as a face.
Yeah, but who knows? She could probably still come and be a heel. We'll see.
Get off my girl, Natty.
I love Natty.
Let's move on.
I love Natty.
What else y'all got? I'm about done.
Yeah.
I'm about tapped out on this episode.
Me too.
Tap, tap, tap.
All right, then. So let's get to the TFW moment of the week. If you are new to the TFW pod and you don't know what the TFW moment of the week is, it is a moment that we just decided to shout out something that we saw that we really enjoyed. over the week. As long as it's wrestling related, it is on the docket to be able to be the TFW moment of the week. My TFW moment of the week, honestly, was Dynamite from last night. I was trying to figure out one moment. I couldn't. I kind of hit on everything that made it the TFW moment of the week for me. From Sting and Jericho to the fantastic Cole and MJF match to the production additions to Excalibur laying out while the pyro was going at the beginning of the show. I hate when people talk over pyro. Don't step on your own production. To the replays of the elbow drop through the table. I just thought last night was a great showing for AEW. Much needed for everything they have going on over these next few weeks and couple of months. So that was my TFW moment of the week. It was just a fantastic Dynamite show this week.
Wonderful. My TFW moment comes from AEW, and it was just in celebration, I guess, of Juneteenth. It was the look that do something from the brother on AEW when MJF was trying to almost attack him. He was trying to punk him. Y'all remember? And the brother was like, all right, do something. Like, I want you to do something. So just the look of do something, that's my TFW moment of the week. Because if you know that do something is, I dare you to touch me. I dare you to touch me.
Yeah, he would have got a little something. Take something back from MJF as well.
Doesn't matter.
I'm gonna go to NXT. I'm not sure if you guys watched the show, but a tag team that I'm very high on, and I wonder what happened to them or why I haven't seen them, was Angel and Humberto. They are back on my TV on NXT, and I love it. I have no idea why these guys weren't getting work, but now they're back. They're on NXT. Let's go, guys. I want to see more.
They are doing some really, the people who they're deciding to take down to NXT for these few weeks runs are the right people. And we get Brian versus Seth next week.
Yeah.
That is going to be appointment viewing watching for me. Why? Because there's no more basketball. And football doesn't start for another couple months. And I don't watch baseball like that.
Okay, so real quick. So what if Braun, like, doesn't step up to the plate against Seth? Like, do we just give him one off and then okay?
I literally think, and we know, hey, Omos, we ain't seen him since. If he can make Omos have a good match, he damn sure can get a good match out of Seth. I mean, out of Braun.
That's real talk. That's real talk.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, guys, that is it for another successful episode of the TFW podcast. I'm potted out. I ain't got nothing else. Rhodesia, take us home.
Happy Father's Day to all you awesome men out there. There are some people who take care of y'all and really, really respect y'all, even though the stores don't have as many greeting cards like they do for Mother's Day. I give y'all that. I would give you that. But in my household, Matt, you are an incredible father. I see it firsthand every single day. I'm not gonna get emotional on the show, but thank you so much for everything that you do for our child.
Oh no, if I knew we were doing this, we should have led with this. This could have been an hour and 46 minutes. Put me over. Damn it, don't worry. You know what? I appreciate those words. Love you. Love everybody. I'm gonna make sure next week we need like this part 2 of this, and we'll just lead with it. Put Matt over. That should be a segment. We got E's random segment.
Eshaun.
We got you looking up Googles. Somebody's got to put me over. Put
Matt over. Eshaun, happy Father's Day to you. Hopefully they treat you like a king. I'm not going to call you that BD word ever, but hopefully they treat you like a king that you are. And happy Juneteenth, everyone. Thanks you for listening.
All right, y'all. Peace. Talk to you next week.